So very good morning to my dear students. Today we are going to do a poem Wind, which is written by Subramaniam Bharti. Okay, so take out your beehive books, open your books at page number 30, Wind. For that, I'm going to share one poem with you. Now tell me, visible to you? Poem is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's begin with this beautiful poem. So all should be ready with your books and pencils in your hand so that you can jot down, you can write down the details of this poem. In this poem, so many poetic devices are used. Okay. And this poem is a message given poem, very beautifully written by Subramaniam. Basically, what is this poem? Wind. You all have experienced wind. Okay. Sometimes wind also causes a lot of destruction. But how can we make friend with poem? How can we make friend with wind? This poem is all about that. Whole of the poem is telling about the observation, the perspective of poet. What does the poet think? What is his perspective to see the wind? Okay, whatever he observes, he feels the effects of wind. Okay, he feels the effects of stormy weather, and and besides that, he also appreciates the wind god. Okay, now, here in this poem, we are going to appreciate the poet's vision, his perspective, his unique thought process, that how that simple things, wind, can be described so beautifully. So, through this poem, the poet is giving us a message. He is suggesting everyone that we have to be we have to be physically and mentally strong, because here wind is symbolizing something. What is the basic meaning of that poem? What does wind symbolize here? The wind here is symbolizing the difficulties, the obstacles and hurdles, hardships, and all the troubles that human beings, we all have to face for our survival. And the people who have strong physique, those who have good mental health, okay, they will stand and face all the obstacles, all the hurdles of their life so bravely, okay, and they can face all the problems, obstacles with lots of courage. So wind is giving this message to us. So here poet, through this very simple concept, has given a very beautiful, very touching, and very, you can say, educative message to all of us. So let's begin with this. Wind comes softly. Don't break the shutters of windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling ruptures, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind got winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to form the body, make the heart steadfast. Do this, and wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His hardship is good. He will praise him every day. So this was whole poem, beautiful poem. Now I'm going to take three lines, and I will be explaining each and every line so in detail. So my dear student, you pay attention in class, okay? Wind comes softly, don't break the shutters of the window. Don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. So first write down the meanings of the difficult words that we found in these 4 lines. Write down the meaning of shutters. Shutter means panel used to open and close the windows. So underline word shutters. Shutter means panels used to close and open the windows. Okay. Next word that we have is scatter. You write down these meanings, only then you'll be able to understand. Scatter. Scatter means throw. To throw in different directions. Okay. To throw in different directions. After that, softly. Softly here means slowly. So you write down these meanings according to the passage. What is the meaning of these words? Write down. Then you will be able to. I'm getting a side. Yes, beta. I'm getting a side. You jot down these meanings. Shutter means panels used to close and open windows. Scatter means throw in different directions. And softly means slowly. So what is the explanation of 4 lines? Here the poet is making a request. To whom the poet is making a request? The poet is making a request to wind, and it is humbly requesting it not to blow so strongly and so harshly. Why so? Because when wind blows so harshly and so strongly, it hits the shutters, okay, and it breaks down the shutters. So that's why here the poet is making a plea, making a request to wind to kindly blow so softly and so slowly so that the shutters of the windows should not be broken. Okay. See, the winds separate man from the stormy environment outside. Why so? Because the windows are there. So windows maintain a distance between human being and environmental effects, okay, which are going outside. So he is asking the wind for protection, and he is also pleading, he is also requesting the wind not to blow so fast so that papers on the floor should not be scattered. Okay. And it is also making a request not to throw down the books from the bookshelf with its lots of heavy force. Okay. So first 4 lines are very simple. In this, the poet is requesting wind to move slowly, to move softly. It is requesting not to break the shutters of the window. Why so? Because the windows are there for our protection. It is maintaining a gap between a human being and a stormy environment outside. So it is asking window for protection. It is humbly requesting the wind not to scatter the papers in the room and not to throw down all the books which were lying on the bookshelf. Okay, clear? Now shall I move further? First 4 lines are clear to you? Okay. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. Now, when the poet was requesting wind not to blow so harshly, not to throw papers, not to tear the papers, okay, not to scatter the papers. So, do you think the wind obeys poet? Wind was obeying poet or not? Yes or no? Tell me. Wind was obeying poet when poet was humbly requesting? No, not at all. Very good response. No, not at all. So what was the result? When the poet was pleading, making request, what was the result of that? After that, he was shocked. The poet was shocked to see that the wind was blowing so soft, so harshly, so strongly, that it completely created a mess in the room, and the books were also falling down from the shelf, and because of that so many pages were also torn. And now the poet sees outside and tells the winds that it has brought rain again and again. Because of the heavy flow of rain, because of the heavy flow of wind, the rain also began to come. Okay, so what was the, yes beta, this recording will be uploaded in YouTube definitely. So the poet accuses the wind of blowing so strongly, so harshly, because it has created a lot of mess in the room. All the books were throwing down from the shelf, and because of the heavy force, so many pages were also torn. Okay, and he sees outside, he looks outside and tells the wind that it has brought rain and rain with it again. Okay, now what is the poetic device used in these first 8 lines? Okay, you read these lines carefully. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the books, pages of the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever. Okay, see, it means here poetic device is used personification. Why so? Why personification is used? Why here personification poetic device is used? Why so? Because it is a figure of speech which is used to inanimate object or animals or birds to look or feel humans. So here, what is being personified? Here, wind is being personified as human. Okay. So here, wind is being personified as human, because if you go through these lines very, very carefully, so you will come to know that wind is again and again being personified by the poet. So what poetic device is used in these lines that I have explained to you? The poetic device is used personification, because attributes of human being are added to that. Okay, because personification is a figure of speech which is used to inanimate objects or animals or birds look or feel like human. So in whole of these all lines, the wind is personified again and again. So if question is asked which poetic device is used in these lines, so you will be writing that personification. This poetic device is used in these lines. Why personification poetic device is used? Because wind is being personified as a human being, because it is causing destruction. Okay, so whenever wind blows, it throws down the books. Okay, it tears the pages of the books. So wind is personified as human beings. So personification poetic device is used. So up to that, if text is clear, shall I move further? Now poem is visible to you. Poem is visible to you. Shall I move further? Text me if poem page is visible. Okay. Now, next, I have explained you 7 lines. Let's move to line number 8. Sorry, 6, 4, 3, 7 lines. Line number 8. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind got winnows and crushes them all. So One of the student is asking me the meaning of toad. Toad is the second form of tear. Okay, toad is the second form of tear. It means when the books were falling down, the pages of the books were torn. The pages of the books were torn because of the heavy flow of wind. The books were falling down, and because of that, pages were tearing. Okay. Now, in this stanza, there are some difficult words. You write down these meanings, only then you will be able to understand the explanation of this poem. So, write down meanings of difficult words. Poking at. Poking at means making fun. Making at. Weaklings. What is weaklings? Weakling means weak bodies. Weak bodies. Frail. What is the meaning of frail? Frail means weak. After that, we have crumbling. Crumbling means destroying. Or you can say breaking. Rafters. Rafter means sloping beams. Sloping beams. Which supports a roof. Which support a roof. Windows. Windows means, here according to this stanza, windows means which separates. What separates? Weak from strong. Okay. So you write down the meanings of these words. Only then you will be able to understand this poem. So I have written the meanings of difficult words. Poking at means making at. Weaklings, according to this stanza, weakling means weak bodies. Frail, frail means weak. Crumbling, crumbling you can say destroying, breaking. Rafter here means sloping beams which supports a roof. And windows, according to this stanza, windows means, otherwise window means to separate. But here windows means to separate weak from strong. Yes, I'm getting a side, yes. You write down these meanings and listen to the explanation of this stanza. Here, the poet is speaking in a very different tone. It is speaking to wind, that it is saying to wind that you create a lot of mischief. You are very much naughty. You are very much cunning also, because whenever you come across anyone who is so humble, who is so weak, okay, it means whenever it encounters anyone who is too weak or humble and mild to protest against its action. So what is the action of the poet? What is the action of the wind? That it tears down doors. It tears down rafters. Even whole of the entire wooden house altogether is also destroyed by the wind. It means when a wind comes across in front of weak personalities, it brings a lot of destruction. Which kind of destruction does it bring? That it destroys their house also. Because if house is made of wood, the wind can also destroy the house. And when weak and you can say meek, down to earth, very weak personalities are living at that place, it tears down doors, rafters, even entire wooden house all together. And the people, they are left without their shelter, and they have to live without their shelter, and they are not able to protect themselves from the outer world. They are not able to protect themselves from the outer world. You have written these meanings. So here the poet is saying that whenever it encounters anyone who is too meek, humble, and mild, so it tears down doors, rafters, and even entire wooden house all together, and the people are left without shelter from the harsh world outside. Okay? The poet is saying that the wind can tear down weak bodies. Okay? It means difficulties in life can lead to a loss of hope as a loss of life also. So that's why it is all up to the wind god, according to the poet. It is all up to the wind god. God. Why so? Because wind can tear down weak bodies. Okay, that is difficulties in life can lead to a loss of hope as well as a loss of life. It means sometimes we feel so down, we feel so disturbed that when difficulties come in our life, we are not able to face them. And these difficulty can bring a lot of destruction. It can also bring a loss of life also, because some people, they don't have courage to face all these difficulties. Okay. So here, when the line is used, the wind god we know separates and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So here wind is being personified as God. So again, which poetic device is used here? Personification, because wind is being personified as God. Clear? So shall I move further if up to this poem is clear? Crumbling means destroying, breaking. It means as wind comes, it comes suddenly. Like that in our life, problems also come suddenly. You know what will happen tomorrow, you cannot say anything. So whenever problem comes in our life, problems come in our life, they come all of a sudden. They come suddenly, like that wind. So here the poet is symbolizing wind to say it's a hidden meaning, because if wind comes, it can tear down the bodies, weak bodies. It can bring destruction to the weak personalities. But those who are strong, wind cannot destroy them, because they are mentally and physically prepared. They do such kind of arrangements that if wind will come, so there should not be any kind of destruction. They are physically ready, they are mentally ready. That if such kind of hardships will come in our life, so we should face them with lots of courage. So here, through this poem, through these lines, the poet is conveying us a message that the wind is causing destruction only for the weak people, not to the strong people, because strong people are physically strong and they're also mentally prepared to face the hardships or face the loss of wind. So they are prepared for that. Clear? Now next stanza we have, he won't do what you tell him, so come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly, practice to form the body. Make the heart steadfast, do this, and the wind will be friends with us. So write down the meaning of firm. Firm means made strong. Here firm means make strong. Write down the meaning. Firm means make strong. Steadfast. Steadfast means determined. Okay. Firm. Yes, its meaning is also firm. So according to these lines, you write down first these meanings. Yes, crumbling means destroying. Yes. So according to these lines, the poet is saying, the poet now speaks to the readers that wind does not listen to anybody. See, here the poet is pleading in front of the wind. It is making request not to bring destruction. So do you think that wind is listening to the reader, listening to the poet? No, the wind is not listening at all to the poet, because whatever the wind wants to do, it is doing its job. It is bringing destruction. It is breaking down the houses of weak people. The houses which are made of wood, it is destroyed with one stroke of wind, isn't it? So it is breaking down the windows also. It is causing destruction. Books are lying down, falling down from the shelf. Even the pages of the books are completely torn out. Here the poet is making so many requests in front of the wind, but wind is doing its job. It is not listening to at all. Okay, and it is causing destruction to the weak people, humble and mild people. So the poet is speaking to the reader that the wind does not listen. The wind does not listen to anybody. Wind is not listening to anybody because it is doing its job, it is doing its work. So what should we do as a human beings to escape from its harmful effects? We should build the houses which should have strong foundation, isn't it? So that we can ensure that the wind should not enter through windows. Okay? So like that, we should train our bodies and hearts to become strong. Same like that, when wind comes, the smart people, they build strong houses so that wind should not enter in their house and cause destruction, because they people are smart enough, strong enough. They are mentally prepared that wind can blow at any time, storm can come at any time. So we should be mentally prepared for that. So like in our life also, at any time obstacles can come, hardships can come, troubles and difficulties can come. So what should we do? We should make ourselves physically strong. We should make our heart strong. How to face all these problems? Okay, it means enemies can attack on us at any time. So we should make our character strong. We should know how to face that obstacle, how to face that hardship and trouble. But if we are weak, physically if we are weak, or mentally we are weak, how we will face the enemies? Because these trouble will always create problems, but we should gather courage to face all these problems. We should be mentally prepared for that. Okay? Clear? One thing more I want to tell you. One of the poetic device that is used in these lines I have told you, that was personification. Okay, another poetic device that I am going to introduce, that is anaphora. You write down this poetic device name, Anaphora. A-N-A-P-H-O-R-A. Anaphora. What is basically anaphora? See, when repetition of the same word is made again and again in the successive line, when repetition of same word is made again and again in successive line, which poetic device will be used? Anaphora. So I have given you the meaning of this anaphora, that repetition is done of the same word, okay, in successive line, then anaphora poetic device is used. But now you pick up the example of this, because I have explained to you in about half of the poem. So where did you find anaphora? Read second, third and fourth line. Read second, third and fourth line of the poem. Don't. 3 times it is repeated in successive form. Don't break the shutters of the window. See, don't break the shutters of the window. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books. Don't. 3 times has been used. So which poetic device is used here? Anaphora. Why so? Because it is a repetition of word. Okay. Now give me any another example of anaphora. You can see line number 6, 7, 8. You tore the pages of the books. You brought print again. You are very clever at poking fun at wicklings. You and you is used 3 times in a repeated form. Again, this poetic device is used. Now tell me another example of anaphora. Don't raise your hand, text me. I'll be appreciating that child who will be giving me another example of this poetic device. Where did you find? According to only today's explanation, not in whole of the poem. Yes. Text me. Yes, very good. Aparan, Jayati, Dhiren. Very quick answer, Jayati. Jasleen. Very good, Daljit. Very good, students. So your answers are absolutely fine, correct. Wherever crumbling is used, like crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. Crumbling is used. It means it is a repetition of a word in a successive lines. Same word is repeated so many times. So it is anaphora. So in this poem, you have come to know about 2 poetic devices. First one is personification, because in beginning, wind is personified. Okay. And then anaphora is used. Okay. Now this poem is clear to you. We will be continuing this poem on Monday also. So whatever I have taught you, you just go through it. If you face any problem, if you have any query, you can ask me. Clear?